Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for telling my children that if they don't grow up and get real jobs, they aren't getting a penny from me when I die, and then giving them a reality check? I 57 male have 2 kids. Ned, 30M, and Amy, 27 female. Ned works part-time flipping burgers, but insists his real job is as a gaming streamer. Amy claims she's a professional influencer. Her livelihood, supported by her boyfriend. My kids are adults. What they do with their lives is their choice. We've had several arguments about it. But ultimately, as adults, the responsibility for their lives is their own. Over Christmas, we were talking about their mother on Zoom. When Amy brought up the subject of her will, wondering if she'd left anything to them, I confessed that she passed before ever writing one, and the money she did have was used up the year she passed. We were a dual-income family, and at a time when neither of us were making a lot. It was a hard time. Eventually I joined a friend in the private sector, and my fortune changed. I'm not rich, but I'll never be uncomfortable again. Well, Ned then decided to lighten the mood by implying that I'll make up for it when I pass. I asked him what he meant, and the conversation went, has followed me. What do you mean, Ned? Well, you have a lot of money. Right. It'll go to us, me, and who told you that, Amy? What do you mean, me? I've made it very clear that I don't approve of the way you both live. You both chose not to get an education or real jobs. You have no way of supporting yourself. I often buy them groceries. You refuse to help yourselves, so why would I enable your lifestyles by leaving you my savings when I die? You want my money, then grow up and get real jobs. But the bank of Dad will be forever closed when Dad is forever closed. What followed was a heated argument where both Ned and Amy accused me of being manipulative and unsupportive. So I got real with them. You both refuse to grow up. Flipping burgers is an honorable job, but it's not going to keep a roof over your head. What if you have kids? What if you get fired? And Amy, what will you do if your boyfriend breaks up with you? Because all you do is sit on your butt all day and take photos of yourself. You want to do that? Find a modeling agency, a real job. You both speak of chasing your dreams, but neither one of you are in any position to do that because neither of you wants to take responsibility for yourselves right now. I've said it a million times. You're adults. What you do with your lives is your choice and your responsibility. Dreams take money, and neither of you have that. Grow up, get a job, a real job, then chase your dreams. I'm not going to leave a penny to either of you. If your life plan is to get by until I die, then coast through the rest of your lives off the earnings of my hard work. Ned ended the call after a prolonged silence. Amy called me an a-hole, then did the same. I haven't heard from either since, and neither will take my calls. So, am I the a-hole here? I think I might be, because I was unnecessarily harsh on Christmas. Edit. Some of the feedback coming at me is because I'm critical of their jobs. To be clear, a job is something that you make money from. Neither earn any money as a streamer or influencer. And I defend my opinion of flipping burgers. It's an honorable job, but not a career. If you're doing it part-time, like my son, thus making him ineligible for promotion. If he were working it full-time, I would be worried. But I know he's taking responsibility for his life at 2. This conversation has come up a lot during the pandemic. My son was laid off and my daughter isn't working, but both have been speaking a lot about their jobs as a streamer and influencer while bringing in no money to show for it. We've argued about it a lot, and it just came to a head when they brought up my will. Now for the top comments, not the a-hole. It's your money, do as please. I have friends who stream and make a little money from it, but it's clearly only a side hustle. Getting big enough to support yourself on streaming or as influencer is incredibly unstable. What if you get banned from the platform? Streamer/YouTuber/influencer is extremely volatile market, and an audience you built over years can disappear overnight at minimum. It's smart to have a reliable skill to fall back on. I confess, I know very little about how either industry works. All I know is that my son spends countless hours streaming himself playing video games, and my daughter sits around all day taking photos of herself, claiming she's an influencer. Finally, an opportunity to use my useless knowledge. I have worked with digital content creators and influencers for 6 years. I've directly supported thousands of them and seen their earnings month to month. A very small percentage of them make enough to survive day to day, and plenty of them will have a high earning a year or two, then fall back down and ultimately have to go back to a normal job. They are always heartbroken unless they are bankrolled by a family or a partner. No one does streaming or digital content full-time until they are making a legitimate full-time salary. Your kids are far too old to be this delusional brace for the down votes, but honestly not the whole. It would be one thing if they were doing these things on the side and supplementing with another job that provided enough income for them to live, and another thing still, if they were actually making money from their influencing and streaming, but it sounds like both of them are scraping by due to the charity of others and don't have any kind of sustainable life plan. This is maybe fine for a while in your early 20s, but one kid is 30 and one is heading there shortly. It's time for them to take some responsibility. They can still have dreams and still pursue them on the side, but at 30 you better be able to buy your own groceries or at least hustling your butt off to do your best to buy them. Should you maybe have picked a day other than Christmas to lay these truths on them? Possibly. But your son is the one who picked Christmas to say when you die. We're getting that money, so I don't blame you for going there when you did. I also suspect that they wouldn't have taken this news any better on any random day either. Truth hurts sometimes. I think it is seriously messed up that the son is waiting on his dad to die so he can get the inheritance. You are only 57, Jesus. You could potentially live for 30 to 40 more years. What was their plan to live in poverty until their 60s or 70s? And what if you need expensive medical care later on? Or care services in your old age that wipes out your retirement money? Not only are they entitled as hell, but they have no idea how the world works or how to realistically plan for the future? Not the a-hole. Now for the next story, am I the a-hole for spending $600 weekly on my son and not his brothers? I'm a single dad with 3 sons in order: Jack 23, Austin 19 and Kevin 16. Kevin has a severe learning disability, low-functioning autism. I look after him at home after he was failed by 3 care homes because there was neglect. The last care home hadn't managed to wash his hair in 4 weeks or give him a shower in 3 weeks, and other problems that were never addressed, and a complicated argument with SC who were awful and nasty. I couldn't let him live like that. Jack and Austin both live at home. They didn't want him to return home and were being negative towards him. They said since he's back home, they won't be involved in his care. I'm not sure why they want this for their brother to be treated as less just because of his special needs. I know it's not easy for them, Kevin and me, but he's their brother. I started looking after him myself. Routine has changed, but I managed. At first I started working from home so I could spend more time with him, but it didn't work because not only am I solely taking care of him, everyone else in the house doesn't help with simple tasks. It's just exhausting to be doing everything alone. I decided to hire a paid carer that takes about $600 weekly. Austin and Jack knew about it and they were upset with me, asking me why I was spending that much money on Kevin alone and demanded equality and be given the same amount of money weekly too. I was stunned when they both lashed out at me for playing favorites and treating Kevin differently, saying he was my spoiled favorite. They started complaining about needing money to fix their phone, / a new TV, / a new dishwasher, etc. I told them that I had no choice, since no one wanted to participate in his care and that they're capable adults who can start earning their own money if they wanted. They said they weren't obligated to take part in his care, so I should stop holding that over their heads, then demanded that I give them the same amount of money weekly. We argued back and forth and they both took turns to try to guilt me for what I did. They refused to drop it and other family members got involved. My sister berated me, saying I was being unfair and that their reaction is understandable. They're both 23-19. They can move out if they want. At least they don't pay rent nor groceries. The argument seemed to be going nowhere. They've been giving me the silent treatment since then and say that I'm playing favorites. I need to mention that I in no way asked or expected Jack and Austin to be responsible for their brother. I never asked them, so I have no idea why they keep saying I'm trying to get back at them for refusing to help. It's not like that at all. Now, for the top comments. They're adults. Adults living in a home should be helping with cooking / cleaning, etc., regardless of the situation. Even kids should. But adults really should. No, they don't need to help with his care, but they do need to do other household tasks. Kevin is a minor child with special needs. Of course, you should spend more money on him. Do they have jobs? How did they come to expect you to support them into adulthood? Rent-free? I understand the 19-year-old not paying rent, but not the 23-year-old. Everyone sucks here for enabling the older two to act like this. No. Neither of them have jobs. I've been understanding and didn't want to make them feel as if I'm being controlling and treating them differently from Kevin, but it obviously got out of control. I'm dealing with so much and I really can't take this anymore. Dude, they can get jobs that's not being controlling. It's making sure they are responsible adults, which they're not right now. It's not like Kevin can even get a job, so they should be thankful they have that ability. I've already talked to them about this. Jack wants to get a job, but it's Austin who keeps demanding things from me and being a jackseer about the difference in treatment. It's clear to me that Jack has been affected by what his brother tells him, not the ahoy. You're under a lot of pressure here for many reasons, most of which are outside of your control. It's clear that your other sons see Kevin as a burden wanting nothing to do with him, but also as a threat from the perspective of your time/money/attention. I suspect this goes back to their childhood where they always felt like his special needs meant that they got less than. I think family therapy is highly in order here. Your sons do not appear to have the emotional maturity to manage themselves properly in this situation, and the last thing you need is more stress. Hoping you are able to sit them down, have an open and productive chat with them and get the ball moving on, seeing someone that can help you navigate this. I've mentioned therapy for them, and Austin laughed, saying there was nothing wrong with them to seek counseling and that I'm the one being neglectful and playing favorites. The next story is titled, Am I the A-hole for not buying presents for my brother's kids? I'm a 36-year-old woman and my brother, Carl, name changed, is 38, had 3 kids aged 12, 9 and 7. I don't have kids nor do I want them. Carl and I have never been on good terms and I honestly cannot stand as brats. They're rude, entitled and manipulative. The oldest one is known to bully other kids, the middle one is known for throwing things when she doesn't get her way, and the youngest one drowned a hamster when the hamster was found dead in their bath. My brother and his wife actually laughed and said something like, "Oh, he's just a kid for this reason." Those 3 kids are not allowed to come to my home, but I have a great relationship with my cousin's kids. My 3 cousins have 5 kids between them and I love spoiling them this Christmas and New Year. I couldn't go visit them for obvious reasons, so I just send each of them presents that they would like. Every year our entire family celebrates Christmas together at either my parents' or at my uncle's place. On those occasions, I give my brother's kids presents too. Admittedly, I don't spend too much money on their gifts. If each of my cousin's kids get 3 presents for me, my brother's kids get just 1 each. But this year, as I wasn't physically near them, I didn't bother to get them anything at all. My brother's wife got to know about the gifts I had sent my cousin's kids and threw a hissy fit. She and my brother complained to my parents as if they themselves were a pair of little kids. My parents have told me I'm being cruel. I told them I can spend my money however I want. I'm not going to waste it on people I don't really like. My brother has been texting me telling me I'm a terrible aunt. I just texted back some funny emojis. Lol, tell me, am I the a-hole for not getting my brother's spa something? Top comments. Not the a-hole. The fact that your sister-in-law threw a fit over something that was none of her business to begin with isn't your fault or problem. They are grown adults and if they want their children to have gifts, they can buy them. I'm assuming they are your parents' only grandchildren, so they are probably spoiled enough as it is. And did they buy you anything? Probably no. So why do they just expect you to buy the kids something? The kids probably didn't even notice or care. Entitlement at its finest. Yes, they are my parents' only grandkids and no, my brother and still never give me any gifts. Even though my cousins always reciprocate my generosity to their kids. Not the a-hole. In addition, maybe try to stay on good terms with the youngest one in case he shows up at your door with a knife. In 10 years, I'll be calling the cops. Lol, not the a-hole. First, it's your money. Second, you didn't give the presents in front of the kids, so they feel bad. Your brother and Silk could manage it better and their kids too. The part about the hamster really freaked me out. What kind of parents laugh at that? It was very disturbing. That's actually the main reason I don't let those kids into my house. They might hurt my pets. My cousins also go out of their way to keep their pets away from those kids. Now, for the last story, am I the a-hole for asking my grandson to get rid of his cockroach collection before moving in? My daughter is a single mom. My grandson is 11 and my granddaughter is 8. They're being evicted from their current residence due to the property changing hands. My wife and I offered them a place to stay while they look for a new house. The only issue is that they keep reptiles. Well, the reptiles aren't the problem. Exactly, I have no issue with lizards and snakes and the like, but they breed their own feed or roaches, thousands of live bugs in containers they use for breeding and food. I understand it's cheaper to breed the roaches yourself, but I do not want the risk of an infestation if they escape. I used to see bugs all over the reptile room in their old place. I told my daughter to get rid of the bugs. She knows plenty of other keepers who would take them. Breeding them isn't hard either. Once she gets a new home, it will be easy to start again, and buying food for the lizards for a month won't hurt. She is incredibly mad about me asking her to get rid of the bugs. They are apparently my grandson's project and he's very proud of them. I support him having a hobby and being responsible, but I don't think an 11-year-old boy is capable enough to not accidentally cause an escape. My daughter works not from home, so it will be my wife and I's responsibly to wrangle any escapees 8 hours out of the day. Am I wrong for asking this? My daughter is so upset by her request and thinks it's unreasonable since the bugs are clean and well kept, and I'll be disappointing my grandson. She asked that I at least buy the reptile food since I'll be forcing her to get rid of the roaches. I reminded her it's my roof, my rules, and the animals are her responsibility. She won't be paying us rent, so she has extra income for the month to buy the food. She wants me to tell my grandson and myself that we are forcing them to get rid of the bugs. But this is just a transparent guilt trip. I don't think I'm strong-arming her into this, or that my request for no cockroaches in my home is a crazy one. I'm editing the post to say a few things. 1. They are W roaches, and no, I don't know how she got them. I wasn't even aware they were illegal in Florida until I made this post. I'm hardly an expert on reptiles or bugs, so forgive me if I get some things wrong. 2. They have to leave their current housing situation because the new owner is changing the property. I don't know if evicted is the right word in this circumstance, but they were strongly suggested to leave and didn't get proper notice. No, this isn't legal, but we can't do much about it. Now, for the comments, not the a-hole. First half, you are incredibly generous for allowing your daughter to come live with you rent-free with her small children and a friggin' reptile zoo. Personally, I feel like even that much would drive me to resentment, but if the line for you is only the roaches, well, so much the better. That's an easy solve. And it's not like these are animals your grandson was attached to. He literally was planning to put them to death if they're so inflexible that they can't grant you this one compromise. Well, they're welcome to find another snake and lizard-friendly, rent-free place to live. I'm sure that will be a very easy ask, not the a-hole reptiles do. And yeah, there will always be some escaped bugs around. To be fair, unless your home is dirty as in food crumbles all over, there won't be an infestation. However, I understand some people don't like having certain bugs in their house at all. My mother hates reptiles and bugs, so she doesn't want me to bring them over when I visit. I think they should remember they are moving in someone else's house and they can start again when they get back. I know it's a kid project and all, but I also think it's a good time to learn other people's boundaries as well. Not the a-hole. This is not an unreasonable request at all, but I want to be very real with you here. If you have seen roaches outside cages in their apartment before, then they are bringing roaches with them. Even if they offload all of the caged ones, this is really a guarantee. Unfortunately, before they move in, I highly encourage you to talk to a pest control expert about what you need to do before, during and after their stay to prevent an infestation at your place. Note, however, that I'm not saying you should yield on your demand about the caged roaches just because they will definitely bring some. There's a big difference between dormant eggs they can't do anything about and an active infestation bomb just waiting to go off. Also, I'm shocked your daughter's landlord ever allowed this. There wasn't an infestation at her old home. The reptile room where they were kept had some in the corners and closet. Never a lot by any means, and rarely in other parts of the house. It wasn't a dump, and I didn't mean it to come off like that. She's a tidy person, but I was pointing out if some roaches escaped there, they were at my home too. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you like this content, I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.